When I say the reality of roaming, what comes to your mind first? Is it something like Modern Warfare 2? Well, not that one, the real one, where you're going to join a map, drop 30 kills in 15 minutes, and not die a single time because honestly, you're just that good at the game. Or is it the Zergs, the ones with the 4 Pew Pew Rangers, those 3 mechs, 15 supports, and that 1 DP thief that's going to chase you down, BM you, throw siege on you because you tried to capture that 1 sentry point by yourself? Disgusting roamer. Or maybe it's something else entirely. It's the 1v1s, because you're never quite sure what you're going to run into. And every fight's always different. Even if sometimes they don't end how you want them to. Or even expect them to. For me, when I think of roaming, it's the fights like this, where I open up with a continuum split burst on the Weaver, get it gelled almost immediately and waste my continuum split. Then, my Gw2 pops in the middle of my screen. While I fumble with that, all this guy's friends show back up. So, decided to go for another spear burst on the Weaver, open up with the spear 2 and the spear 5 F1 combo. I'm able to down him and the Harbinger as well. Now I'm left in a pretty good spot, where I only have to deal with the Bladesworn and the Virtuoso. Decided to go for a Mass Invis so I can get a safe heal off, followed up with a shield 5 in the downstate so they can't res in stealth. And as soon as I come out of stealth, I face take a huge F2 burst from the Virtuoso and go down almost immediately. However, I am able to rally from the Harbinger, and the Weaver I downed earlier is still down, able to do enough damage pressure on the Bladesworn to prevent him from resing the Weaver, and now the Virtuosos decide to follow me. I went up with a Spear 5 into a Spear 2, I'm able to down him as well. However, as soon as I made some distance, a Thief showed up. It's always the thieves, man. But I still do have this Virtuoso down, so I want to make my way towards him so I can consolidate some damage on top of him, especially when they start to go for that res. Fortunately, I was just a little late on stopping the res. I was able to down the Thief, but unfortunately at this point, fight's just over. But hey, that's okay. That's how these fights go sometimes. It was still a good fight, still enjoyable, but you always want to win some, right? You want to win your fights even more when your boys are around. That way you can flex on them. Let them know how dog shit they really are at the game. But when your friend does some decent damage to the Power Mirage and you can follow it up and get the down, you'll help them. And when that Willbender comes and drops a bubble in the down, you will port into the bubble. But he's not going to notice because he's still dealing with the other Willbender and the Rev. So you're not going to say anything about it. You're just going to keep cleaving. But you're going to let him chase those Willbenders around for a little bit because you're hiding in stealth. And now you're low on cooldowns because the Willbenders don't have any. So you're trying to run away. Willbenders are still on top of you. And you try to do everything you can. And the only thing you can do is down one of the Willbenders. And you're waiting on your friend here to rally you. You're still waiting. You're still waiting. Oh, and you're up. But guess what? The Willbender doesn't like that. So you think the fight's over. Guess what? Perfectly time stomp. Look at that. Oh my god. Anyway, so now you're back in the action, right? He's able to down the Revenant. You followed up with another Spear Burst into the last Willbender, and that's the fight. But for some reason, just not good enough. You can get a cleaner fight. So that's what you try to do. You stay there and you wait. Wait for him to show back up so you can do it one more time. Just to prove that we can do it better than the first time. And decide we're going to go with the game plan. I'm going to let Tubby open up first. And we'll go for the Power Mirage again because that worked out well the first time. And he's able to get it down. And I missed my Spear too. And dodged nothing. For the Willbender to come in. And guess what? He does a lot of damage. And they murdered my Continuum Split. So now I'm in a really bad spot. Even worse than the first fight. So I'm running away. And Tubby's going to follow behind me. And as soon as I get out of combat, I'm going to wait for a good time to jump in. But unfortunately, this Willbender is better than me. And he almost one-shots me immediately. Almost. I'm able to shield block for at least 3 more seconds. And then die. But everybody else is up. Power Mirage is up. So this fight's over. And you go back to respawn. Think about what just happened. How bad you are at the game. And come to terms with the fact that 2 Willbenders are just going to kill you eventually in a 2v4. So you think of a game plan. A game plan that makes sense. The Willbenders have focused me almost every single fight, and it's safe to say they're going to focus me again, which is fine. They have a Power Mesmer, and if we can get rid of that first, because it's probably the easiest to get rid of and the most dangerous, I can use that to rally when I eventually run out of cooldowns, because both the Willbenders will eventually run me out of cooldowns. And once I go down, hopefully Tubby can rally me with the Power Mesmer, and we can continue fighting. At least that's the game plan. Let's see how it works. Now this next fight is going to be a 2v4 with me and Tubby versus 2 Willbenders, a Power Mirage, and a Power Rev. Now I'm a little early to the fight, so I'm going to open up defensive on both these Willbenders, and they're going to waste a ton of cooldowns into my shield block, which is perfect for us, but we're still going to focus that Power Mirage because that's the game plan we talked about earlier. And I'm able to get a little bit of damage on them, followed up with another Spear 5, and then into the Blink, which is maybe a little bit too aggressive. This forces me into a Massive Invis a little early, so I can get a safe heal off, but as I come out of stealth, I open up with a Spear 2, followed up with a Spear 3 for a little bit of resustain, and we're able to down the Mirage. Now this is the point in the fight where I'm telling Tubby, I'm getting pretty low on cooldowns, and I'm probably going to go down soon. You can't really run away from a Willbender, and they have really short cooldowns, so eventually this is going to happen. So he's able to start cleaving the down state early. I'm able to rally fairly quickly. As soon as I get up, I decide to open up with a Spear 3, that way I can get a little bit of health, followed up with a Spear 2 on this Herald for some clarity. Now I can throw Spear 5 and CCs both him and the Willbender. This gives me a second to get my heal off. While I do this, Tubby targets the other Willbender because he is low, and then I swap to my offhand set to land a Scepter 2 for almost 5k and down the Willbender. Now I can use my 3 clone Distort for a safe stop, and then that way we don't have to worry about wasting cooldowns on trying to cleave this guy. With the little bit of Distort I have left in my Midnight Signet, I'm able to cast my Cleanse Mantra just in case I get a mowed by that Willbender. Don't want that. But while I'm doing that, Tubby's able to clean up this Revenant. Now all we're left with is this Willbender, and we're just going to kind of walk him down. So the first fight wasn't clean enough for us. We thought we could do better. In the second fight, I threw almost immediately. But then, when we were running back from respawn, we came up with a game plan, and it worked out great. And we were able to get another win, an even cleaner win. Now it's 2-1, but maybe this isn't what you think about when you think about roaming. Maybe you're not even a roamer at all. You just like watching the montages, the ones with the sick one-shots, the always perfect clips. That's fine too. Or maybe you're a roaming veteran. You know the ins and outs of how this shit really goes. Your question always is, what happened after they cut that clip? Like here, where 2 scrappers run up on me and I'm forced to figure out which one do I want to focus first. When I call a target on one, I go for a Greatsword Burst on it and do a ton of damage. I'm able to down them almost immediately. But I don't have a safe stomp, so I make some distance and get pulled. And while I get pulled, the down that I made get rezzed by the gyro. So go for the burst again, able to down them one more time, but now Reapers join the fight, and I don't really have the cleave or the cooldowns to secure the down. So I'm forced to LS behind this hut, or at least I try, but it doesn't really work out too well for me. And a Thief joins the fight. But that's okay. If it wasn't for the Thief, the other 2 guys coming from spawn would have got me anyways. Maybe the reality of roaming looks like this to you. You dodge the God Chain of a DH, and a 1v1 looks like it's going to shape up to be pretty good. But you're in enemy territory. You're right in front of their spawn. And that's okay. You just got to make this fight quick. So you open up with a Spear 3 to reflect the True Shot and dodge the Baby Cage. Just get hit by the Dragon's Maw and Continuum Split and waste that. And that's okay, because you can follow it up with a one-shot on the Desync DH. Now, it wouldn't be the reality of roaming, a lot of Thief lurking in the distance, waiting on the perfect moment to strike, while you're at 3.5k HP. But that's okay. Forced to use my last Cleanse Mantra, that's alright. I'm able to get an early heal off to get some of my health back, then followed up with a Scepter 2 into the Spear 2 for clarity, and then try to go for the Spear 3, but unfortunately I don't dodge anything, followed up with the Spear 5 and land a ton of damage, almost able to one-shot him, but fortunately not. It's best to just go and Mass Invis so I can get a safe charge on my Cleanse Mantra, try to clear some of that weakness if I ever need to, and I'm able to go for a heal, but unfortunately now a Tempest has joined the fight, and now I kind of have to figure out a different game plan. See, before the Tempest joined, I would have slowly been able to whittle down this Thief. As long as I didn't make any mistakes, I would have killed him eventually, but because the Tempest is here, game plan's got to change. I got to go for the one-shot on this Thief, so waiting on some cooldowns. When I feel like I got a decent amount, I'm going to go for the one-shot and get him down to 5%. If that isn't the reality of roaming, I don't know what is, man. But of course, the Thief is going to go immediately out of combat, and then he's going to port directly back into me, and I'm going to be stuck with some weakness and poison. Now I'm not going to waste the Cleanse Mantra on that, because I would rather just heal with the less amount of healing than waste the Mantra needed to clear a mob. But we are an enemy spawn, so like I said, some people are slowly joining, and eventually a lot of people are joining. I'm able to get one down on top of the rock, but it's best to just run away at this point, as there's too many people to deal with. Luckily, our Thief friend does decide to chase us, so we will be able to continue our fight. And here I'm kind of in a weird spot where I don't have a lot of damage readily available, so I decided to go for a Mass Invis and then swap over to Spear. Now I am keeping a mental note of where these axes are, but I am running dueling, so whenever I dodge I do get a Reflect, which works perfectly for me here, where I'm able to reflect the axes, get clarity on the Raptor, and then follow it up with a Spear 5, another Spear 2 into the F2, Spear 3, F1. Right, that's a little bit of a lengthy combo there, but I was able to down this Thief almost immediately. And once I down this guy, I start to go for the stomp, and of course he ports away, but the DH from before does show up as well, so I'm kind of getting ready for that, and I'm able to swap over to my offhand set with Spear 2, use a 3 clone F1 and that Scepter 3 to get the down. Alright, once I down this guy, I'm just going to cleave him out real quick, and then as soon as I finish cleaving this guy out, there is another thief decides to try and fight me. Now this is a DP dash thief. He's going to do a ton of damage. As you can see, he almost immediately one-shots me at the beginning of this fight, and forced to make some distance, get my heal, and then go for a Spear 4. Followed up with a Scepter 2 into the F1 and do a ton of damage. I'm able to land just the longest range auto attack on this guy. Got really lucky with that one, I think, but nonetheless, I felt like this was a good fight, and it's about the most textbook World v World roaming fight I've seen at all. I mean, you know, you got the thieves, you got the Zerg, you're in the spawn, you got the DH that gets one shot and desyncs. Perfect clip. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely had fun making it. Really enjoyed making it. Just wanted to show that roaming doesn't have to be all serious all the time, right? And there's definitely times that you're gonna die over and over again, or immediately, or fuck up somewhere you should have won, right? That's just part of it. And yeah, hopefully you guys got inspired maybe to come out and try roaming, or just enjoy the video. Anyways, thanks.